So, general information. The first grid we are going to look at is the Power Apps read-only grid. This grid control is the new default control for all read-only views and subgrids since April 2022. So for most of you, this grid will look very familiar. The new Power Apps grid control is still in preview mode, but the plans for now is from Microsoft is that this grid will become the new default grid in the future. And yeah, this to change this grid, you can do this in the settings of every entity. So let's take a look how we can do this. If you're on the make.powerapps.com site, if you're in your solution, I'm now in the default solution, go here on the points on the right side at the top. I have it in German here, but if you have it in English, it says go to classical view, and then you will come to the classical view, go to the entity for which you would like to change the grid, and then you can go to the controls tab, and here you see we have these two grids. Because the Power Apps read-only grid is the new default grid, for most of you, you will have activated this grid, but actually it's the same like this. The only thing you can do with this grid is to change the settings. So if you would like to change the settings of the Power Apps read-only grid, just change your grid to this one, and then you have all the settings here you need. Here is the new grid. It's still in preview mode. And yeah, you can of course test it already now. So let's start then with the current grid, which is the Power Apps read-only grid. So here, what functions do we have in a read-only grid? Yeah, edit of columns. Every searchable column can be added to a view, even columns from related entities. We have a lot of filter options. We have, for example, a jump bar, which filter records based on the letters of the alphabet, and it acts on the first sorted column or on the primary column. We can search for keywords. We can filter our logic in the background, and we have a lot of operators which we can use. So let's go back in our system. And yeah, this is the current read-only grid. So like I already said, for most of you, this will look really familiar. Yeah, here we are. Here you can see at the bottom is the jump bar. For now, my primary column is the account name. So if I'm searching something here, it now works on the account name. If I would change my order to another column, this means it will now search the alphabet letter for this column here. In the right upper corner, we have our keyword search. We can, of course, change in the setting for which keywords we would like to search. Then, as I said here, if we want to filter something, we have a lot of operators we can use to really get the data we would see. Then we have our Edit Columns button. You can add all columns which are searchable. Searchable means this is a default setting in our columns. If it's activated, you can search for it, add something, and like I said, also for every related entity, you can also add columns. Just click on Save and Apply. And of course, we can change the filter logic in the background. We can add groups to define any AND or OR logic, add related entities. A new area will appear that it's really easy to see that this is a related entity. Yeah, and if you would like to save this view, just click here at the bottom, save as a new view or save it as a current view. If I save it, my saved view will now appears at the top of my views. And here you can see these are my personal views. You have here this icon, so it's really easy to see if this is a personal view or a default view which everyone can see. You can, of course, change your personal views with other colleagues. This is how the current grid works. What is also a great new feature is this bottom here, is visualize this view. Let's click on it and see what happened. Based on all the columns I have in my view, Microsoft creates a Power BI report automatically. It will show you sums and it counts what for data I've got here. So for now, Power BI recognized I have different cities in which my customer lives or based, and yeah, it just counts them. And yeah, gives me an example which I can use. If this is not what I would like to see, I can really easy change this. Here are my columns for my views. I could change this or add something to this. I can here personalize this view, change my x-axis and my legend, doing a lot of things just here in the Dynamics app where I'm doing my daily business. So if here in the top corner you see it count everything automatically. Yeah, it's a really, really easy way to create reports based on the views I have. And if you save it, it would suggest to save this in my workspace. Even if you don't have a Power BI license, a Pro or Premium license is normally what people have when they work with Power BI. You can save this in my workspace, and you can use this report then for your own. You cannot share it, but it's possible to use this report. Okay, so let's go back to our files. And let's take a look at our new grid control. Yeah, the new grid control, what features do we have here? We have the possibility of infinite scrolling. Let's start here at the top. There's no more limitation of maximum 250 records per page. If I don't want to have this maximum, I can activate this infinite scrolling and just scroll and scroll and scroll down without any limitations. There's a default editable grid mode. That means, yeah, it can be activated and it's just in one grid. Until now, there were two different grids which you had to change if you want to make a grid editable. Now it's a default setting. We can let show the data types of our column headers. If it's a text, a number, an email, we can let it show. In some cases, this could be really helpful if you have a lot of columns in your grids. We can now use the color of our option set values. We can let it show as a background color. And if you have a lot of data and want to recognize something really fast, this could be a great way, or it is a really easy way to do a customization based on a color. And another great and probably newest big feature is that you can now custom self renders or editors. That means you can use out-about functions to modify your grid. For example, what a lot of you maybe know is to use PCF controls. It's now possible to add really, really easy PCF controls to this new kind of grid. And if you have a developer who's familiar with coding, it's really, really easy now to write your own code and embedding this to this new grid. Until now, it was really big effort to create own grids, customize them in the way you are, and now the Power Platform community says this is really a big improvement. So let's take a look how this new grid could look like. So this is how this grid looks like. As you can see, all the functions we've got from the older grid version, we also have them here. The jump bar is here. We can filter for keywords. all functions are here. The visualize this view option is available. Yeah, and as you can see, it looks a bit different. We have horizontal and vertical lines between our records. Here at the role column, I activated the option set color. So this is an example how this could look like. I also activated the column type. So as you can see here, it's a text field, it's an email field. Look up, really easy to recognize which type of column I can see here. What you can see in blue means there's any link behind it. For example, this is a lookup field. So if I would click on that, it would link me to the company which belongs to my contacts. If I'm clicking on my email, like in the old grids, it recognizes, it's an email, so I could write an email directly, clicking on this link. The same with telephone, Microsoft recognized it's a phone number, and yeah, I can start directly doing a phone call from this. Yeah, and as you can see, it's editable. I can edit it. And if I'm going to this contact, you can see, oh no, it's not editable. Here you can see now it's edited. It goes really fast from the grid itself. Okay, let's go back to our presentation. So, because I'm not so familiar in customizing grids, here's just an example how a customized grid could look like. So you could have some custom icons for your option sets, or use it as values, or just have some Boolean fields, yes, no options, and let it look like this. So yeah, it's now really more easy to customize your grid in the way you need it, yeah, to work better with your data.